Let's return to our top story this hour. At least some Republicans are pushing back against President Donald Trump's false claims that Ukraine is to blame for the war with Russia. In a post on social media, the US president called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator and warned him that he better move fast or he won't have a country left. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and former Vice President Mike Pence are calling out the president for accusing Kyiv of starting the conflict. The war of words escalated after President Zelensky accused Mr. Trump of living in a disinformation space when it comes to Ukraine. One Ukrainian lawmaker is urging the importance of clear communication between Washington and Kyiv. Alexander Mereshkov is chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Ukraine's parliament and joins us now from Kyiv. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So obviously I want to start with your reaction on Trump's comments. He called your democratically elected leader a dictator. He falsely claimed that Ukraine started the war. What's been the reaction in Ukraine?
Well, what really matters in our situation, because Ukraine right now is really in a difficult situation. It's been 3 years of full-scale invasion, and you can imagine how hard it is to fight against huge, brutal Russian empire. And what really matters is to maintain good relations, friendly relations between our countries, because we cannot allow Putin to win. If any kind of statements which destroy relations between Ukraine and the United States, they're detrimental for both countries. That's why I have always been in favor of direct contact between our presidents. I'm absolutely sure that having such meetings or summits, they, in a very easy way, they will clear the air. They will remove all obstacles, all misunderstandings. This is a crucial thing for our survival, and it's a crucial thing for the reputation of the United States as the leader of the free world.
Yeah, clear communication is key. But is it demoralizing hearing those sort of statements by the US president?
Well, of course, Ukrainians don't agree with this because for a very simple reason. We cannot have elections during the war. It's against our constitution. It's against our legislation. But most importantly, our people are categorically against holding elections during the war because they will be the only winner. Putin is trying to push this narrative about elections during the war. He understands that it will have terrible consequences, divisive consequences, and it will undermine our country from within. He failed to destroy us from outside, and that's why he's pushing this narrative, trying to destroy us from within. It's very dangerous, and we hope that our American friends understand what really at stake here.
It was interesting hearing the US president claiming that Zelensky's approval rating is only 4%, despite the fact that the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology reported just in February that just earlier this month that 57% of Ukrainians said that they trust Zelensky, which is higher than the approval rating of Trump here in the US. Why would Trump parrot Russian propaganda?
Well, it's hard to say. There can be several explanations. One of them might be that maybe someone is trying to misinform President Trump. We cannot rule out this possibility. But again, if Trump would come to Kyiv, or he would see for himself, and very good sign that Mr. Kellogg, General Kellogg, has come to Kyiv. Tomorrow he will have a meeting with President Zelensky, and I hope he will convey the messages and first-hand information about what's going on. Another explanation might be related to sort of political rhetoric, because President Trump is trying to deliver on his promise made on election trail about bringing peace to Ukraine. And maybe in this way, he's trying, the addressee of these statements might be Putin, because President Trump might be trying to sort of entice Putin to bring him to the table of negotiations. So, but it's my subjective kind of hypothesis with regard to this situation.
As you mentioned, Trump's envoy to Ukraine and Russia is in Kyiv, and we'll have some pretty significant discussions tomorrow. What's the hope for those meetings? And do we know whether he will go to the front lines, which is what Zelensky has suggested?
General Kellock has been many times to Ukraine, to Kiev, and I have noticed one very interesting thing from my communication with American congressmen and senators. Those of them who have visited Ukraine before, you don't have to preach to them. They're, so to speak, already converted. They understand perfectly well what's going on in Ukraine. So I believe that this is the key how, for example, to change opinion of Mr. Trump, of Mr. Elon Musk, for example. I don't know whether General Kellock will go to the front line, but he has seen it before, he has been before, and he understands perfectly well what's going on in Ukraine. And honestly, we treat him as our close friend.
And US President Trump has suggested that the US should have access to Ukraine's minerals in terms of leverage and negotiation going forward if Ukraine wants US support. How is that being received in Ukraine?
Well, for me personally, it's a good sign. It would be much worse if President Trump would not be interested at all in Ukraine. But being interested in our strategic resources, he understands the importance and value of Ukraine in terms of geopolitics, in terms of geoeconomics. He understands that these resources, they're important for the free democratic world. If Russia occupies these territories, the chances are that they can end up in the hands not only of Russia, but also in the hands of such a rival of the United States as China. But we agree and we welcome American investments and in development of our natural resources. We agree to do it on mutually beneficial basis. But at the same time, we understand that there is Ukrainian constitution, there is Ukrainian legal system which regulates the process of development of strategic and mineral resources. But we're open for such mutually beneficial cooperation. It's important for the development of our economy. But the thing is that we can talk seriously about this only after the end of war, because in conditions which we have right now, when the war is raging on, it's difficult to develop mineral resources.
Alexander Mereshkov, Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Ukrainian Parliament, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and we wish you all the best. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching CNN.